Well, at first it started off like it was all cool and stuff because it was like, some black comedians, Kevin Hart and Chris Rock was hilarious. I was dying. I was dying. And then Richard Pryor's sketch was hilarious. But then it just started getting really distasteful. And when I got to the Charlottesville riot clips, it was just like made me sick.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like very like crazy that in 2017 like this is real life still.
Yeah.
Probably I've seen it before. It's Chris Rock talking about like black people versus
Mm-hmm.
the N-word. And I've seen it before, and my dad and I used to talk about it. My dad's black. And my dad's like, I remember talking to me about it. He's like, honestly, that's true. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? How can you say that about your own people? And like, that's what like is really interesting about the division within the black community, which sucks already because there's a huge division between the black and white community. So why make it like double trouble, basically? But it's definitely hard to see because there's definitely black people who have not made it out of the cycle of poverty and have not really like, it's about opportunity. And when you're born into a family or a situation where you don't have a ton of opportunities, it's so hard to just make them for yourself. That's not to say it's not done, because it is done all the time, but it's no simple task. So I think that's what a lot of people think of as the stereotypical black person that maybe hasn't had the opportunity, so therefore is uneducated, and therefore doesn't act like you and me, so therefore is a N-word.
All right.
The word nigger?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Where?
I think, perhaps. Well, it derives from an African word negus, which means king or royalty. And so it was a way for, it was sort of like a stolen word that was like converted in a way so that it could be used against black people. So it was like a word that was reinvented for the purpose of oppression.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think it is like among the African American community. I only think that because the word was used to undermine us, like taking the power back and using it as an endearing word, or like something that is exclusive among our culture. I think that's completely okay.
Mm-hmm. For the N-word to be used.
I don't think so. I know that it's a huge part of hip-hop culture, and I don't think that's going to go away anytime soon. But I think there's a reason that gay people don't necessarily throw around the F word. I think that white people don't necessarily throw around cracker. Like, I think there's a reason for that. So I don't know why the black community would be any different.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think if anybody uses it, I think that sends a message saying that it's okay to be used no matter who you are.
Right.
And I don't think that you can just say this group of people can say this word, because that's never going to work. So, no, I don't think so.
When?
If you are quoting someone, if you are portraying another character, like say it's like a play or a film or something like that, like I'm not going to get mad at the white actor who was playing the slave master who said the N-word.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it'd be easier to say when it's not the time and place. It is not the time or place if you, as a white person, are speaking as yourself. Yes.
Okay.
Or actually, if you are American, any non-African American, if you were speaking from yourself.
So not even like Hispanic people, Asian Americans.
Definitely not.
Okay. All right. I think yes, in a sense. I mean, I definitely think I just don't feel like anyone should really use the word because it's such a derogatory, it like not even back then, it's coined such like a negative word. Like there's not a word to me really other than Nazis that holds such a negative energy in a word. You know what I mean? Like it's a very strong and powerful word, and not in the good sense. It's not like an empowering word. So unless that changes, no, I mean, like, it always makes me feel uncomfortable. But yes, like, if a Black person says it, like, yeah, I don't feel as uncomfortable as if a white person says it. I never think it's okay for white people or anyone else who's not Black to say it.
So nobody should even use the word.
Yeah, but it's also a part of our history and our culture, and so I guess, yes, it is okay for Black people to use it because, I've definitely heard it be used in different contexts to not have such negative energy and try and take the negative energy away from it. And so I definitely think it's a cultural thing. Like, white people just need to not have it in their vocabulary at all.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Now we have reclaimed it.
How so?
Well, the word has been used as, like I said, it's a form of oppression against us. It's been used as a weapon against us. And we say, we're tired of it, so we're taking it. Like I said, I mean, perhaps like we've had different research outcomes as far as the root of the word was, as far as what the root of the word is, but that the root word has different foundations in different languages in different cultures, and some of them do derive from African nations. So it's sort of like you took something that was ours, you turned it against us, we're taking it back. It no longer belongs to you, and we're not going to allow you to use it against us anymore.
So, could it be a term of endearment?
For who?
For Black people to use with each other.
Sure.
Okay.
If that's the point of view you're coming from, Of course, you have to know who you're talking to. So I'm talking to, because I know plenty of Black people who are very uncomfortable with it. So I would not say it to them. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think so. I don't think there's any reason to use, like, even people say it's different with an A and a hard R, but it's not. Like, it's, of course, has a different meaning with slang and hip-hop culture, but it's the same word, and it's a word that comes from so much hate and discrimination, and, like, I just can't, I don't know, I don't see the grounds for it. So.
Like ER? I think ER should not be, like, nigger. No. I think that's a completely out of line, like, because hearing the word nigger from any, like, white, Black, anybody, that's just like, but like nigga, that's like different. That's different. Okay.
Like at all, period.
At all, period.
I would be okay if it was never used again. Like if the word just disappeared from the world, I would sleep fine at night. But I think that our reclaiming the word is something powerful. And so I'm not like against it being used by Black people.
Okay, so as soon as what's his name, the white comedian came on, I was like, oh God, please be careful with where you're walking with this joke. But with Chris Rock, like, him using the word wasn't what was making me uncomfortable. It was what he was actually saying. So I definitely, like, anytime white comedians, like, bring up race, I'm always just kind of like, it's too soon. It's, like, still too soon. Please walk a very thin line. Definitely the one with what's his face, who the house one.
Oh,
like,
Bill Maher.
Yeah, that was. I was shocked that he said that.
Why?
Because, like, who the fuck, like, says that? First of all, you're on TV, so, like, if there's ever a time for you to be actively thinking about what you're saying, it's when you're on live TV. And then second of all, like, what? Like, I'm sorry, I get like very passionate about this, but yeah, no,
Go ahead, go off. It's fine.
no, it's like not okay. Like, why did you think of that? Like, he was talking about like making kids do manual labor, and he like fucking brings that up. Like, that's not okay, and that's not okay for him to even use like in that context, because it wasn't even like he was like historically talking about something. He was just like, oh, what am I? You know what I mean? Like making a joke of it, and that's not a joke. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Again, because that word has such like a negative context, and it's like so heavy and dense with all of its history. Like, it's not something to just be like throw around casually like
Right.
he did, because it was very casual,
Mm-hmm.
like very, very casual.
Like he says it all the time.
Yeah.
I thought the white one was definitely less funny, but
Mhm.
I'm a little bit biased because I am half black. So if I was totally white, I'd probably not say that. Well, maybe I would. I don't know. Maybe I'd be woke. Who knows? But definitely the black comedian has, like, I'm passing, so I can't, like, I'm a person, so I can't speak for all black people.
Right.
But I've definitely had, like, moments where my family has been discriminated against, like, we're biracial in the South, like, my parents are interracial couple, like, that has not always been super easy around here,
Mhm.
but I think it's definitely, when a black person uses the N-word, they kind of have a more sense of, I don't know, I think it's more okay, which is, like, sucks to say that something's more okay, but I think it's more okay because they've lived through that.
Mm-hmm.
And they've lived through, like, at least all black people have lived through at least some form of institutionalized racism, of prejudice, of something that has hindered their experience on the earth. So I think that makes it okay for them to, I think that the idea of reclaiming the word is a fine idea. I don't agree with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's definitely better for someone of color to use the word than a white person who has no idea what that feels like.
Right.
So,
It's not the white comedian's word to use.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's it.
it's not his right to use the word anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would never say it was like his right to begin with, but definitely not now. Just not his right. It was very distasteful. Again, like I said, it's not like he was like quoting someone. It was like him just speaking. And I mean, if you look at, I love, there's a clip on YouTube, you can look at it. Ice Cube put it like pretty beautifully when Bill Maher, the thing happened this summer with Bill Maher singing on his show. And I remember getting into a dispute with some guys in my cast about it because they were like, oh, in comedy, like there are no rules, like everybody can like get like attacked and stuff, blah, blah, blah. But what Ice Cube said was that he was like, every time I hear a white person say it, it's like being stabbed with a knife. And when I hear a black person say it, I don't feel that way. And it was like the same thing for me. Like as I was going through video, like clip after clip, like Kevin Hart did it, Chris Rock, fine, da-da-da-da-da. And then in the SNL sketch, when the white guy said it, I was like, whoa. And you sort of knew where he was going because he was like, Tar Baby, Jungle Monkey. He was going on until he got there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, but he is an actor. And like this is like.
Because back then things weren't censored,
Yeah.
so you
and
could say anything.
Yeah, and also he was playing a character, and also Richard Pryor. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
But then we got to my man's Jay Moore,
Jay Moore. Mm-hmm.
and I was like, you can't say that. And I watched the entire clip. And so yeah, just very, very taken aback. And then again with Bill Maher, with like his like.
How did that one feel for you?
Bill Maher.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, did you just say again? It was like the Jay Moore thing, where it's like it just came out of his mouth, like he said it on the regular, you know. And the issue is that people still feel like they have the permission to say it, you know. And I think that you know, people are like, oh, we're so like far removed, but like we're not gonna let you, because the more comfortable people get with saying it, the more comfortable others will feel saying it, and the more comfortable, and then all of a sudden it's turning back into a weapon.
Right.
And that's why Black people now are so adamant about like, no, if you're not Black, you can't say it, because we're not gonna let that happen again. No, it does not mean that Bill Maher is a racist. I mean, I think he is, but like, it doesn't mean like because of that circumstance that he is a racist. Like, that's not like a black and white, like, this is the thing. Like, Bill Maher is a racist. But those people watching the show who are racist, who now all of a sudden they're getting a little like encouragement, like, oh, Bill Maher said it, So, yeah, that's why.
Let's be real. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's always a struggle where, like, being white, first of all, I always feel guilty. Like, I feel the need to go into a room and just, like, apologize to anyone who's not white and be like, I'm sorry, we suck so bad. But then also, it's hard to be asked these kinds of questions because it's like, I'm not a part of this struggle, if that makes sense. Like, I can be an ally and I can use my platform to help and all of that. But at the end of the day, no matter how much you guys explain to us, and no matter like how passionate you are, like when you guys were talking about it in class the other day, and you started giving your experiences and stuff, and like I can feel how you were feeling in that moment. But at the end of the day, like I don't have to deal with that. You know what I mean? Like there's only so much that you can say, and only so much that I can take in from what you're saying. But it's one of those things where it's kind of like I kind of have to let people of color decide what they want to do with it. And no matter what, I'll be here to support whatever you want to do. But, like, I don't feel like I have the right to give my input. I just know that white people should never use that word. So, and I've never felt comfortable ever saying it. I don't even, like, I hate when my brothers say the word faggot. Like, any words like that, like, I never in my entire life have been okay with hearing or saying. Like, I remember last year I was the assistant stage manager for Joe Turner's Come and Gone, which is a phenomenal show. But they do say that word in it, and I like had to go to my stage manager and I was like, hey, just want you to know I feel really uncomfortable with giving like reading lines to people because I would have to say that word.
Right.
Like, because they say it a lot, and it's especially like right at the beginning of the line. So it's like, okay, like let's take it back from great that line. You know what I mean? But so it just like even like in that context, when like I'm literally just reading a line to you for you to say, felt uncomfortable. But I mean, I had to get over that because there was times where I had to be on book and I had to do it anyways. But it was just I felt gross, like weird. Didn't like it. Like I felt like I was becoming dirty by saying that because of like, not because it's a dirty word, but because of what white people have done to make it dirty. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's my 2 cents on that.